Thanks to all you bat lookers and bidders. I just wanted to share a bit more information about my 36 Ford 5-window coupe. It's quite an interesting car. I've got all the ownership history back from new when Miss Emma Singer purchased the car in 1936 until her death in 1965. Never driven in the winter. She always put it away in the barn, tucked hay up beside the sides of it. And then Roland Labar purchased it and owned it for 28 years. He painted the car in about 1967. And here's all the documentation of all the owners. And here he is beside the car after he painted it in the late 60s, which is currently the paint that's still on the car today. He only used it as a club car, show car, gained a lot of awards and trophies for it. And here's all the registration for it. And then registration from the next owner who owned it for, again, almost 3 decades. I have all the history of the car from knowing all the owners. I did put this out. These are the new trunk lining panels that go inside the trunk, because this is a trunk model car, not a rumble seat car. So these are meant to line all the inside of the car and seal off behind the battery that I put in the trunk. The car is completely original. Again, that's the paint, enamel paint job that was put on in the late 60s by Mr. Labar. It's original spare tire carrier, original headlights, taillights. The paint, it's like I said, has been redone except the wheels and the headlights and the underside of the fenders is all original Ford paint. The bumpers front and rear are Newell stock. I bought from a 95-year-old guy up in Denver who had them under his bed for over 50 years, he said to me. The car has never been dinged up or banged up. There's never any rust or corrosion. In the inside, the dash, the inside is all original from 1936, original door panels. Everything inside is all original. The dash is original Ford paint from 36. That's a very rare factory installed Borg clock that went in the glove box. Very few of those were installed. These knobs are all the original knobs. These are not reproduction. Those are what came with the car in 1936. It's got a rare Trico vacuum operated fan for defrosting the windshield or turning and giving you more fresh air. The windshield rolls out so you can have more fresh air or seal it back. And then up front is a cold air vent for letting more fresh air down into your feet. And then in the back, it's got the original deluxe roll-up rear window that works perfectly. I did put new glass in the back with the Ford etching in the bottom corner. You can see there. And the original blind is still there, it still works. Original roof headliner, original sun visors. It's just a very well-kept, never abused original car. That's in all original condition. So we felt it was far too nice to restore or repaint. So what we did is we took the original LB 221 flathead out of it and built a Ford 8BA 1951 flathead with a Mercury 4-inch crank and Ross 3 5/16 forged pistons with metric ring pack. And it's all balanced and blueprinted. The blocks relieved and ported. Heads are milled, and along with the Ross pistons, we get about 8.5 to 1 compression. Iscadarian Max 1 camshaft, oversized valves, Lincoln Zephyr valve springs, new Melling oil pump. Everything in the engine's brand new. New old stock oil sending unit, fuel pump, the new upgraded water pumps, everything. It was redone in the car. The Reds ceramic coating headers with custom stainless steel collectors coming off those, all hand TIG welded, and then back to Porter mufflers, and then to a custom mandrel bent exhaust coming out underneath behind the 2 rear fenders that are in the undercarriage pictures. Ford bypass oil filter system that works perfectly. I did change out the break-in oil, the Gibbs break-in oil to high zinc 2050 VR1 Racing Mobile 1 Mate Racing Oil. I just did that a few days ago. a new filter in the oil filter as well. Tattersfield dual air filter for the brand new Stromberg 97 carbs. One wire 85 watt output alternator, and electric fan that's actuated under the dash, just with a lit switch right here that turns it on and off. And I will put a vacuum hose on the fan because I did bench test it and it worked great. The steering system, I've got all the old pieces as well, but the complete shaft all the way up to the steering wheel with the worm gear in it, and then the attaching worm gear inside, all the bushings, seals, bearings, everything were all replaced with new old stock parts, and completely resealed and rebuilt, so it's as new from the factory with all Ford NOS parts, and those parts were not cheap. All new hoses, of course. A 3-core radiator was put into it. Engine mounts. The transmission was completely gone through. Seals, bearings. The 10-inch Ford flywheel, clutch, pressure plate, throwout bearing, all balanced as a full member with the engine, so it's super smooth going down the road. Drive shaft was balanced. The rear differential had a was completely taken apart, and 354 ring and pinion was put in so it'll go down the road 75, 80 miles an hour comfortably. All the bearings in the wheels and the rear differential are all NOS Ford bearings, and I have all the original boxes that will be included with the sale. Those were altogether about well over $2,000 just for the NOS bearings, seals, and everything from Ford, no aftermarket bearings. Rear shackles the springs were completely taken apart, new shackles put in when we rebuilt the complete rear end. Drive shaft was, like I think I said, was rebalanced, and the brakes are completely gone through, and we installed what was called the Ford equalizers. They're a way of changing the mechanical action of the brakes, and for those folks that have used these in the past, they provided the same kind of braking power that hydraulics do without the headache of hydraulic fluid and leaks and stuff. So great brakes. All the drums were skimmed. There was barely even a lit ridge on the original drums, so they were just skimmed. And then all new old stock brake parts put into it, NOS brake shoes, and there's actually an extra 2-wheel sets of NOS Ford brake shoes that go with it for spares. We just went through every part of the car mechanically to make sure it can now be enjoyed and used for years to come at regular highway speeds, because to us the car was just too nice, too good to restore. It's got all the original stainless steel spider hubcaps. It's all 12 volt now, of course. The turn signals are in the tops of the headlights. All the wiring's been redone with cloth wiring all the way to the back throughout the car. And and they're halogen headlights, so they're nice and bright. This is an original the original one-piece grille that came with the car. The Greyhound hood ornament on the top. Horns in the front work perfectly. Like I said, new old stock bumpers on both ends. It's just a really great original car that runs great. Engine's putting out close to 200 horsepower, and yet runs on pump gas, and runs all this smooth as silk. It's just a great running engine, professionally built in California. Okay, if anyone's questions, just press the contact the seller button. Happy to answer any questions, but it's a car that's meant to be enjoyed and driven. Thank you.